Hello everybody, and welcome to another thought for the day. Today is Saturday the 20th of June. I hope you're keeping safe, hope you're keeping well, and I hope you're enjoying the fact that the lockdown restrictions are finally being eased somewhat. Let's hope everything continues to go in the right direction. Now, a short thought tonight about growth. About Christian growth. And basically the question I want to ask is, how can we measure our own Christian growth? I say that about ourselves because it's very difficult and dangerous to try and measure somebody else's growth. Although that growth may seem obvious, it's still a very difficult thing to measure. But I'm sure we all agree that we do have to grow as Christians. How many times have we heard the illustration where a preacher or a minister will say that if a young baby doesn't grow, there's something wrong, so we have to see about it, take him or her to the doctors and so forth. Well, it's really the same in the spiritual sense for Christians. We have to grow as well. And if we're not growing, well, then there's something radically wrong and we have to address the problem. You know, we can't be the same Christian that we were when we were saved. Some people have been saved 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years or more, and they still feel as if they haven't progressed any. And we all know people who have only been saved for a short time and they seem to be coming on in leaps and bounds. So how do you measure Christian growth? It's very easy in other spheres. You know, if you take athletics or sport, for example, it's very easy to measure your progress. For example, if you're a runner and you run a certain distance in a certain time, it's very easy to see over a period of time, when you look at the times you're doing, whether you're getting better or worse. It's the same with golf. You can see your scores coming down as you get better. It's easy to measure your progress, your growth in that sense. It's objective. It's there for all to see. Again, if you look at the military, it's easy to see the progress that somebody can make as they go through the ranks. They can be a private, then a lance corporal, sergeant, captain, general, field marshal. It just goes on and on and on, and you can measure your progress in a very objective way. And even in education, our children, our young people in school, you get your standard exams, then you get your higher, then you can go on, you get a degree, a master's, a doctorate, etc., etc., etc. So in all walks of life, it's very easy to see progress and growth, but not so much in the Christian life. Now, people say, well, why can't you measure your growth by what you're doing? Well, it's good to serve the Lord. It's good to do stuff. But if we're really honest, friends, well, anybody can attend church, for example. Anybody can take on stewarding duties. In a lot of churches, anybody at all can be a Sunday school teacher or a youth leader. And that's good. But because you're doing that isn't necessarily a proof that you're saved. We would hope and expect so, but it isn't actually a proof that you are a follower of Christ. It's just you are doing those particular things. So a Christian should want to do all those things, and a Christian should want to do that and more, increasingly so, as you grow. But as I said, it's not a proof that we're saved. Measuring Christian growth is really measuring what's going on inwardly, what's going on within you. And which is good, because the Lord always looks on the heart. We look on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart. I want to bring a text to you, and this may be of some help. 2 Peter 1, beginning at verse 5 and then following on from there. We're told there, for this very reason, we have to give diligence to this progression, this growth. And it's described here in this way. And all these things are inward measurements and inwardly apparent, which makes it difficult to measure growth from the outside. But what we have to do is we have to add to our faith virtue. To virtue, knowledge. To knowledge, self-control. To self-control, perseverance. To perseverance, godliness. To godliness, we have to add brotherly kindness, and to brotherly kindness, love. For if these things are yours and they abound within you, you won't be barren, you won't be unfruitful in the knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. So there's a progression there, friends. And I would ask you to look at that particular list and see how far you've progressed. Because, as I've said, we've got to grow in our faith. We can't say that famous or infamous sinner's prayer. This is a terrible delusion, friends. An awful lot of people have prayed a prayer. They've asked Jesus into their heart or whatever, and they've done that years and years and years ago, but it hasn't made a difference. It hasn't made a change in their life, either inwardly or outwardly. Yet they're sitting back doing little or nothing, and they've got their ticket to heaven, or they think they have. So they're just whiling away the time. They're not serving the Lord, and they don't feel as if they have grown, nor does it seem to anybody else that they have grown. So we can't be the same person, believer, that we were many years ago. We have to progress. Now, God knows whether you are growing or not. And I suspect that we know whether we're growing or not. We should be becoming more Christ-like. We should be wanting to know more about him, serve him more. We should be getting deeper and more involved in things as we grow in the faith. And if we don't see that progression within ourselves, well, we should ask, what's happened to my faith? Is it stagnant? Does it need some help? Do we need to be encouraged? Encouragement's a great gift and a great thing to give to others. But if we were all growing as Christians, we would all be much more healthy than perhaps we are at the moment, and we'll be able to do more and enjoy more and be closer than ever to the Lord. So I know I'm being a wee bit subjective, but it's a challenge, not for others to point the finger at friends and families and relatives and judge them. It's up to us, friends, to examine ourselves and be very honest before the Lord and just ask ourselves if we really are growing in the faith, albeit slowly, but are we making progress? And if not, why not? We have to address where we are. Okay, just a few thoughts on Christian growth. So when you grow, you're healthy. And of course, in the life of a plant, you'll produce flowers or you'll produce fruit, and that will be the evidence, the outward evidence that you are growing on the inside. So let's think about these things. Thank you again for tuning in and listening. Until I see you again, please keep praying, keep washing your hands, keep looking up, keep safe, and keep growing. That's all for this evening. So it's another bye for now.